What is going on, everyone? This is Eric coming at you from just outside of Hartford, Connecticut. And today we're going to look at the Sam Bradford, Nick Foles trade, which occurred on March 10th, 2015. Now, originally I was going to call this trade the Nick Foles trade, but then I realized Bradford was by far the bigger name in the trade with other trades, so we'll go with Sam Bradford. So the original trade saw the Eagles acquire quarterback Sam Bradford in the 145th pick in the 2015 NFL Draft from the St. Louis Rams in exchange for quarterback Nick Foles, the 119th pick in the 2015 draft, and a 2016 second-round pick. So we will start with the Eagles as they get Sam Bradford. So how did Bradford do in Philadelphia? So he spent one season, the 2015 year, as an average starting quarterback. Now, he did what he does best, and he actually set the record for best completion percentage in Philadelphia history in a single season. So that's what Bradford does. And then he ends up getting traded after the 2015 season. Little side note, I actually saw him play the Jets in the 2015 season. So he gets traded to the Minnesota Vikings in exchange for a 2017 first-round pick and a 2018 fourth-round pick. So, little side note on this trade, Teddy Bridgewater had gotten hurt in the preseason. Minnesota felt that they were a quarterback away from competing. So the Eagles said, okay, tell you what, we'll trade you Bradford for, 2 draft picks. And of course, at this point, Philadelphia had Wentz, so they didn't need Bradford anymore. So that 2017 first-round pick would become the 14th overall pick. With that pick, the Eagles would select defensive end Derek Barnett. And Barnett had a quiet rookie year as a backup, but he is known for recovering the fumble in Super Bowl 52. And then he became a starter in 2018, but he hurt his shoulder mid-season, and he did okay for the next 2 seasons, 2019 and 2020, but he hasn't really lived up to the status of a top half of a first-round pick. He did get his 5th-year option picked up, so we'll see how he does in the 2021 season. The 2018 fourth-round pick would become the 130th pick in the draft. With that pick, the Eagles would select defensive end Josh Sweat. And Josh Sweat has actually been a good reserve defensive end since his debut. He's been working his way up in the rotation for the Eagles. And I think if you see a lot of injuries, Sweat will take over as a starter in his 4th year in the 2021 season. But we'll see what happens. He's definitely living up to the hype. So the Eagles also got the 145th pick in the 2015 draft, and they would trade that pick to the Miami Dolphins along with the 52nd and 156th for the 47th and 191st. Now with the 47th pick, the Eagles would select cornerback Eric Rowe. And Eric Rowe had an okay rookie season, nothing great before being traded. Keep in mind he wasn't a scheme fit, so they just said, okay, we'll get rid of him. So they would trade him for a 2018 4th-round pick. And that 2018 4th-round pick, you'll notice, was the pick after they had gotten the one from Minnesota. And they also held their own 4th-round pick. So they had 130, 131, 132. So rather than keep all 3, they would trade one of the picks to the Miami Dolphins. And they decided to trade the 131st pick. And with the 131st pick, they said to Miami, they would get running back Jay Ajayi. This was mid-season through the 2017 season. And Jay Ajayi was a solid change-of-pace running back in the 2017 season. He had a couple interesting plays, but he wasn't elite. He wasn't a starter. And then he ends up tearing his ACL week 4 of the 2018 season. And then he ends up leaving the team for a brief second, and then comes back in 2019, only plays a couple games, doesn't do anything, gets cut. So not a horrible pickup, but not the best. So, with the 191st pick in the 2015 draft, the Eagles would select cornerback Ja'Cory Shepherd. And unfortunately, Shepherd's career never took off. He looked good in training camp before tearing his ACL. And then he just got cut after he didn't make the team in 2016. So next we have the St. Louis Rams. And the Rams got quarterback Nick Foles. So unfortunately for the Rams, Foles really struggled as a starter while in the city. And he ends up getting released. He ends up asking for and being granted his release after the team would pick Jared Goff because he said, I don't want to be the backup. So with the 119th pick in the 2015 draft, the Rams would select offensive tackle Andrew Donnell. And Donnell spent 2 years as a backup before being cut by the team. Now, the 2016 second-round pick would become the 43rd pick. This would be traded away, and this will be discussed in a future video, the Jared Goff trade breakdown video. So this will be tagged in there, and that will be tagged in here at some point when the video's up. So that finishes these two. Now we have Miami, Minnesota, New England to discuss. We'll start with the Miami Dolphins. So in the 2015 draft, the Dolphins got 3 picks. With the 52nd pick, they would select defensive end Jordan Phillips. And Jordan Phillips never really developed over 3.5 years before being cut by the Dolphins. He wasn't bad, but he wasn't good. With the 145th pick, the team would select cornerback Bobby McCain out of Memphis. And McCain's been a pretty good player. So he's been converted to a safety, and he's kind of had a bit of a career renaissance since becoming a safety. But he's still a pretty good player, pretty good value for a 145th pick. 11 picks later at 156, they would select cornerback Tony Lippett. And Lippett was a special teamer as a rookie before becoming a starter in year 2, tearing his Achilles in training camp in year 3, and then getting cut. So all in all, the Dolphins got some pretty good value out of their later 2 picks there. Now they also got the 131st pick in the 2018 draft. With that pick, they would select running back Kalen Ballage. And Ballage spent 2 years as a backup before being cut. So not the prettiest pick. Next I'm going to go with the New England Patriots, who got cornerback Eric Rowe. And Eric Rowe was an okay player for 3 years in the Patriots organization before leaving the team via free agency and actually joining the Dolphins, oddly enough. So he and McCain are teammates. Just interesting to know that they were essentially traded for each other. Lastly, we have the Minnesota Vikings, who got quarterback Sam Bradford. And Bradford had a strong, to an extent, year 1. Again, I think he set the single-season completion percentage record for the Vikings as well. That's just what Bradford does. But nothing great. Yeah, he had a 71.6 completion percentage. Now, 2017, he's the starter again, and then he ends up getting hurt with a knee injury. And they end up handing the keys to Case Keenum. Keenum ends up taking the team to the NFC Championship game. We all know the story. And Bradford walks as a free agent. He is officially retired, I think, at this point. So, yeah, that was the Sam Bradford trade breakdown. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a good rest of your day.